So, Genders in Media by Andrea and Maria.
First, we have our table of contents, and this is what we're going to cover during this presentation.
So first, for the psychological aspect, men and women are typically stereotyped and portrayed differently by the media. There are created gender roles, which is the culture's expectations for the different person's behavior. And thereby stereotypes is also created, and which is an important role in the identity and behavior of a person. But sometimes it means that people feel limited in their choices and their opportunities because the society expects them to act a certain behavior or act a certain way. And there are also androgynous persons, which means that they base their decisions on the situations instead of their gender. And then they're also influenced by the environment.
From the biological aspect, you could argue that there is some hormonal differences between men and women. This is also called cognitive differences, and one of the reasons to this is that it makes people behave in a certain way. Men produces testosterone, which make them think and act like they do. Men with high level of testosterone are not as intelligent, but more systematic and logical, whereas men with lower levels are, however, more intelligent, but not reproductive. Although there is also some external influence, which is due to that we are exposed to media, social expectations, and social relation throughout our upbringing.
For the social learning theory, it basically means that you learn through observations and imitations. And here the gender role development is created. It basically means that children, they do the same thing as their parents or their idols or authorities, and it can also be their friends and families. Also, it is developed by the media, where the child or a person is exposed to television or magazines, books, and social media, which also makes them act a certain way. And if, for example, unexpected gender behavior is like something that a person does, for example, if a boy plays with dolls, or if a girl like Hot Wheels, then it's not encouraged and it is looked down upon, as it's not the expected gender behavior.
Looking at the gender schema theory, which is based on Pichet's concept of schemes, it means that as small children we're not self-aware and therefore can't distinguish between male and female. This happens through our upbringing where the child matures, and therefore a schema is defined where we are certain on our, that we call ourselves boy or girl, and it becomes more specific.
And then we have the media. Men and women are typically stereotyped and portrayed differently by the media. Mass media, such as advertising or news and industries and entertainment, usually portrays men and women with stereotypes in which women and girls are likely to be placed in disadvantaged situations, as for example in passive and submissive roles, or being sexualized or objectified. Males are empowered to solve their problems through violence and aggression, for example in the TV series and movies of The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Justified, Sons of Anarchy, Hannibal, Ride Along, Grand Theft Auto. Stereotypes contributes to sexism and discrimination, and as a consequence, traditional gender roles and power relations have been deeply interiorized in people's subconsciousness through the mass media, which limit the development of both human personalities and social equality. This is not exclusively a matter of women only being inferior. It's about stereotypes and how society expects how the man and woman should behave based upon their sex.
So for the video, we have chosen 3 videos on YouTube, which we will show now.